Yo, I just thought about something. Yo, Hallie probably ain't paid for no burgers in years. he ain't paid for no chicken biscuits ever. I'm about to ask your daughter, when's the last time your daddy paid for a chicken biscuit? Yeah, she don't even know. This has been that long. Welcome to Expansion Starts Here, the podcast from the Prince George's County Economic Development Corporation, where we connect business owners, entrepreneurs, and community leaders to the resources helping our local economy grow. Today, I'm joined by Hallie Williams, owner of Right Next Door, a company helping entrepreneurs explore franchise ownership with the right information, guidance, and support. For many people, franchising may sound like fast food or big national chains, but today, we're going deeper. We're talking about franchise ownership as a pathway to entrepreneurship, job creation, and wealth building. Hallie, welcome to Expansion Starts Here, my man.
Thank you, man. Thanks for having me today.
My guy, man. First of all, I see you all the time at all the events. We do workshops.
Yeah.
If you didn't get a ticket or RSVP, you might not have seen Hallie because he's moving in spaces and places you got to sign up to.
There you go.
You know what I'm saying? But I wanted to bring you here because number one, first of all, I saw this thing yesterday on Instagram, and it was explaining, I think it was Forbes, talking about how franchising is now the best option entrepreneurially.
Yes.
How did you know, number one, that franchising was the wave that people needed guidance on and was going to take off this way?
So that was one of the premise for us forming Right Next Door, a franchise brokerage firm. Absolutely. We know entrepreneurs wanted to own businesses, but always that path, how do I own business?
Yes.
And then the fear of, I can't own a McDonald's, you know what I mean? Do I have that much cash reserves? What are other opportunities available? And so that's basically what we try to do. We present opportunities to entrepreneurs or investors who want to acquire business.
What are the mechanics in assessing what you should start out buying? Yeah. Because I think, especially culturally, a lot of folks in majority minority counties, I feel like the first thing they say is Chick-fil-A.
I know. There you go.
So it's like you hear Chick-fil-A, it seems like the dream situation based on the line and the drive-through being long and everybody's love for their chicken biscuits or whatever. But I know there's challenges with that, especially if you don't have an owner-operator mentality and other things. Yeah. So when somebody first comes to you, do they normally know what they want, or do you guide them down a path knowing that they just want to be in the franchising business?
What I first try to do, we call it discovery. Mm-hmm. And I actually try to work with those, and I call them entrepreneurs, because if you're talking to me, I expect you to be an entrepreneur.
That's right.
I'm defining you as such. Okay. But it really just take a step back. What are you trying to do? What's your why?
What are you trying to do?
You know what I mean? And because a lot of opportunities we see is filling voids in communities. So although people by default think of franchise, think of restaurants, there are other opportunities available. Right. Home services, professional services.
Hotels.
Right. And so really take a step back. What is the problem, opportunity, need that you're trying to address? Yeah. And then let's we iterate on to find that solution. What business model makes sense for you and your group of investors if you're not a solopreneur.
I want to talk about Elevation Burger.
Yeah.
What happened?
Yeah.
All of a sudden, I just started seeing them leave.
Yeah.
How do you like help people navigate when, I guess some of this is like I did read about the rising beef prices now.
Yeah. Yes.
And that's becoming an issue.
Yep.
Even 250 barbecue, which just shout out to Fernando, the owner, who just won Restaurateur of the Year at the Grammys. But even he was talking about the price of beef for him.
Let me show you the math. This brisket started out weighing about 19 pounds. When we started buying prime beef, it was around $4 a pound. At current prices, we're paying close to $8 a pound for prime beef. That's about $152 before my team even touches it. And after 12 to 16 hours of cooking and resting, that 12-pound brisket becomes about 6 pounds ready to serve. Not 19, 6. So when you buy a pound of brisket, you're not paying for raw beef. You're paying for the trim, the shrink, the time, the fire, the craftsmanship, and the reality that 19 pounds in becomes 6 pounds out. That's the real math behind brisket right now.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
So my whole thing is like, even when your people are getting into these businesses, and again, franchises have multi-industry. It's not just restaurants. How do you really navigate folks so that they can try to like traverse the way the world is moving right now in relation to tariffs or just beef prices, farms? Yeah. I mean, this is everything. This is ecological.
Yep. So part of, you just key point that you shared is that, so part of that early part of discovery, when we work with clients on, we really talk to them about, okay, what type of business model you're interested in.
Right.
And so then when we start to really go into the business model, what's the value part? What's the product and services that they're offering? More importantly, who are the customer segments that they're targeting? Really understand what they are. And on the other side, what are all my resources to bring that product to market? such as supply
Got
chains.
it.
And so you really have to educate yourself on the market, the industry it's in. Is it a mature industry? Is it a new, innovative industry? Because then when you're looking at those different franchise models, is this an emerging brand? Like you just talked about Elevation Burger. Is this a new emerging brand? Because those entrepreneurs that say they want to grow and scale their business concept, but they might be new. So they might not have that many owner-operated units.
Indeed.
Versus a more established brands, they have several units. You know what I mean? So when you're dealing with the emerging brands, there is risk. It's entrepreneurship. So part of your due diligence is to talk to owners of the brand to find out what their experience is like, and then really spend time in that C-suite, talking to that CEO, the CFO, the CTO, and really understand, okay, what's the value and vision? COO, what are the challenges? Because if you were looking to purchase that hamburger, you probably would have asked questions about the supply chain. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Or find out what were the professional background experiences of some of the owners. If they're first time restaurateurs, that's high risk. You know what I mean? And so as an entrepreneur, we're risk managers. So you have to be able to pull those levers to manage that risk.
Hey, it's your guy, Rhett Butler with the Prince George's County Economic Development Corporation. Have you heard about BizBuzz? It comes out every single Wednesday. We wrap up everything happening in the EDC, all the biggest events in the county for economic development, all the news stories, all the resources, everywhere you can get some money, all of that good stuff. Please go to pgcedc.com, sign up for BizBuzz today. We will not spam you. We will just give you that mail. Every Wednesday, BizBuzz, sign up today. You have a quote, an informed entrepreneur is our best client.
Yes.
So talk to me a little bit about this. I mean, do you expect folks to have some level of pre-information, or are you literally saying, I understand that you might have a budget for this and starting it from scratch? Like, what's your litmus test for somebody to even get into the game?
I love that. So my wife's an educator.
Because I know you got one.
You know
I'm not letting
do.
everybody rock.
You know I do. So my wife's an educator, so they have this premise they call having this courageous conversation. And so I kind of lifted that from her.
Okay.
Having
courageous conversations.
Having courageous conversations.
Sounds like reality check.
A reality check up front.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And so part of those initial discovery calls is, as I say, an informed entrepreneur is our best client. So I need to know what's your level of knowledge about entrepreneurship.
Right.
You know what I mean? What experience you have. And I always share with people, not when you're in your 20s. Let's go back to when your first job. Because usually your first job is when you're 15, 16, usually in a franchise for the most part.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? And so what was those experiences like? What did you learn? What did you see?
Right.
And so part of that discovery is your personal profile. Who are you? You know, what values you hold true? And then what's your professional experience? And we try to marry those up, because then when we start looking at business models, now we start thinking about what makes sense for you and your group of investors. Once I learn that, and then in complement to find out where they are as far as their entrepreneurial education, then we provide them different services.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So if we need to take a step back and provide a franchise 101, we'll do that. If you have no knowledge or experience in entrepreneurship, then let's walk you through that process.
Right.
And I do that with my partnerships with like the local universities.
Okay.
Prince George Community here in the DC area, in Prince George Community College, Maryland, Bowie, try to push them into entrepreneurship seminars and training. So they learn about testing business ideas, customer discovery, marketing, customer management. You know what I mean? Like understanding those different levers, so that when you are prepared to acquire that business, that you can stop and you can, in that first day in the business, you can run that business successfully.
How much hard-headedness do you have to deal with people who think they know everything just because you got them in the game?
Yeah. Goes back to those courageous conversations.
Right.
Yeah. You really have to. It's that truth serum a lot of times.
Right.
The hard part, oftentimes, is educating people on entrepreneurship. Is that, especially when they go for financing. So we'll table that for later.
Yeah.
But really getting them to understand is that you're an entrepreneur, meaning that when you acquire this business, especially these franchise businesses, you're not just plugging the business and socking in the wall and money's going to spew out. That's not what's going to happen. You're going to have to put in that sweat equity. You know what I mean? So you have to be true to yourself. What professional experience have you had? Have you had management, leadership experience? Do you understand how to read a P&L? Do you understand the difference between what are your different revenue drivers?
Profit and loss.
Profit and loss.
Boom.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So if you do not have experiences in those areas, then you have to fill those gaps through education. Such as Prince George Economic Development Corporation, we want you to be sustainable. We don't want you to open up and then 18 months later you're going out of business.
Right.
That's a disservice to the community.
That's right.
You know, so that education and being honest with them, and then the finance part. If they're looking for an investment vehicle that's above their financial profile, then let's explore some other options.
Okay.
And so that's the honest conversation we have to have with a lot of folks.
All right, Prince George's County, I got Hallie Williams. So I'm going to ask you the real questions now for the people that are really trying to figure out what their move's going to be. Hallie, what industries or franchise categories should Prince George's County entrepreneurs be paying attention to right now?
Yes.
Take them out of Fantasy Island.
There you go.
Where should they be really focusing their interests if they want to get into the franchise business?
Things that I see now is trending is self-care.
Self-care.
Yeah. So
like the hand and stone,
like a massage. Well, and the self-care industry is growing so much. So it's the med spa, it's the traditional spa, it's the health services. You know what I mean? And so that industry has grown so much. And then we always going to have home services.
Okay.
You know, in the home service industry is taking care of the home. You know what I mean? And a lot of those.
So like the cleaning ladies,
inside the home and outside the home.
Interesting.
You know what I mean? Because one thing we know is that people expand their footprint of the home. You know what I mean? And so those home service businesses are always going to be needed. What people also need to realize is that there's contracts in all these different businesses. You know, we call them home services, but anything that touch plumbing, HVAC, lawn care services.
Nobody thinks about these.
They don't. Something as simple as parking lot. I had a client who wanted to talk about parking lot lines. So a striper. So the lines in a parking lot. Something as simple as that.
What?
You know what I mean? Those are opportunities.
They got franchises for that?
They got franchises for that.
Where the white paint at? Give me some white paint right now.
There you go.
I'm ready to go. That's crazy.
There you go. And that helps the beautification of these commercial districts that we see. So different things like that. I share with people to think outside the box when it comes to businesses. And then senior care. We know our seniors are living longer, providing, and so we need those supplemental services because hospitals, you want to get the seniors, provide them with those wraparound services because we know they live longer when they're close to their families. You know what I mean? And so those are also industries that are doing well.
What is the biggest mistake entrepreneurs make before signing a franchise agreement, and what red flags should make them slow down or walk away? Yeah.
So one thing I always share with any entrepreneur, you need to have an attorney.
Yeah.
That's
stop being cheap.
Stop. You got to cut the check. You have to cut the check because in franchising, it is an agreement. It's a partnership between you, an aspiring entrepreneur, or aspiring franchise owner, and the franchisor. And so you need someone to really read that agreement, those disclosure documents, make sure you're clear and understand what's expected of you and what's expected of them. Right. So that's the first thing I see too many people do is jump into the agreement without having an attorney review those documents.
Too excited.
You know what I mean? You got the idea.
Yeah.
The other part I see is not getting your financing in place. You have to make sure you have your finance in place, not only to acquire the business, to sustain the business. So that working capital. You know, you really have to take your time there. And then third, if it's a location-based business, because we're talking about franchise, it could be a mobile business, it can be, but if it's a location-based business, you have to work with Economic Development Corporation and other resources to find that location. Boom. Do not sign that franchise agreement if you don't have a location in mind.
That's right.
So those are the three challenges that we see. And as much as you try to educate people on the front end, I think people get excited, you know what I mean, and they want to close that deal. But before make sure they have their attorney review contracts, make sure they have their finance in place, and they have a location in mind.
I love it, man. Shout out to Anthony Jeffrey, our restaurant and retail business development director. He's the one that does that here. Hallie, how can people get with you? I know you've now sparked a bunch of new people that want to get into the franchise game. How can they connect with you? Please let them know.
Yeah. So we're at rightnextdoor.biz and on all of our digital channels at rightnextdoor.biz, Facebook, LinkedIn, and Instagram. Definitely reach out to us and let's do a consult. On our website, you can click to schedule a one-on-one. And I share with people, if you're thinking about having an idea of entrepreneurship, reach out to us. Let us know, and then we'll work with you along your entrepreneur journey.
Yeah, and if you see me with Hallie, just know I'm getting free burgers.
There you go.
Because I know now he's the plug. Today's conversation with Hallie Williams reminds us that entrepreneurship does not always have to begin with a blank page. For many business owners, aspiring entrepreneurs, and investors, franchising can offer a structured pathway into ownership, but only when it's approached with education, preparation, and the right team behind you. Here in Prince George's County, we're a community filled with talent, ambition, and entrepreneurial energy. The opportunity is to connect that energy to models that can create jobs, activate commercial corridors, build wealth, and keep more economic activity rooted right here at home. Because in Prince George's County, expansion starts here.